Hello Nigeria, hello Africa. You're watching Plus TV Africa and the program is Sports Business with Orufuo Ezaga. Today we have another exciting package for you. I know I always say that, but the viewers of the program would let you know that every week we do deliver on the promise of giving you very insightful discussions about sports business, which is a relatively new area in this neck of the woods. All right, today we're going to be talking about sports marketing. Marketing is a very critical, discipline that most organizations in the world use to drive their businesses and their profitability. And so we're going to be talking about why it's important to sports and sports organizations, and what the current situation is, given the changes that have happened in the world over the last, couple of decades. In the 21st century, technology, globalization, and all kinds of things have driven marketing in a completely different direction to what it used to be. So how has this affected sports around the world? And what can we learn from what's going on, in areas where marketing is a very critical discipline to everything that they do? And what can we learn from them to develop sports and sports business in Nigeria? Today, joining me from Romania, I think, is Mr. Daniel Carciug. I think I think Carciug. If I have that wrong, he's going to correct us when he joins. All right, so joining us from Romania is Mr. Daniel Carciug. He's an international football clubs marketing expert, and he works actively with clubs in Europe. So we're going to be borrowing from his experience in the course of the next 40-45 minutes. Now, in the studio with me is going to be Mr. Olawale Quadri. He is a director of Ikorodu City FC. That's the club everybody's talking about in Nigeria today. They're rookies to the Nigeria Premier Football League, and these guys are title contenders in their first season. So, as is the nature of this program, I'm going to give you a very short period to get yourself organized for what is to come. All right, grab some water, invite a friend or two to join you on this program, because what you're going to hear could change the way you look at sports and sports business, and possibly open an opportunity or two for you or your organization. Don't go away. When we return, the business begins. You're welcome back to the program Sports Business with Orufuo Ezaga. And of course, you're watching this program on Plus TV Africa, and we're reaching you live from our studios in Victoria Island, Lagos. Hello, Daniel. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. Thanks. Thank you for the invitation. It is my pleasure to speak with you about football business, sports marketing, football marketing, and everything related to the business of football.
Okay, Daniel, I was part of a recent webinar that you were the speaker at, and it was a very insightful session, which is why we tried to get you on this program. So, I thank you for honoring this invitation. First, maybe we should start from talking about what marketing really is, and then apply to how that affects sports business and sports organizations.
So my perspective about marketing and the football of marketing, the sports of marketing, is that we have to get back to what marketing it is. So from my perspective is that marketing is the way from the moment you have an idea till the moment you have multiple sales, right? So this is the general way of looking at marketing. What's happening in this way is called marketing. So that's where you have some issues in terms of social media saying it's totally different than marketing. No, social media is marketing, communication is marketing, commercial is marketing, everything is marketing. Everything is about having an idea, transforming in a product, and then make the sales, right? So get back to what we are interested in sports. So when we say marketing sports or sports marketing, we have to be more specific. So that's why I'm not using a lot this concept of sports marketing, because each sport has its unique. So doing marketing for tennis is totally different than doing marketing for a football club. So that's why we have to zoom in to a specific sport and try to understand it. I'm specialized on the football side, so everything related to football. In terms of what is marketing of football, then again we have to zoom in and see that it's a total different than doing marketing for a club rather than doing marketing for a federation or for a league or for a athlete in this moment. So again, we have to zoom in and we have to teach young students, young professionals that want to work in the marketing of football to choose an area or to try to define it correctly. Otherwise, you have a lot of misconception about marketing in football. So if you ask me what is marketing in football, okay, we define the stakeholders, so we know that we have to marketize all these stakeholders in a different way. As a general definition, marketing for football is about having a club or a product, having an idea about a product, and make multiple sales. This is the role. So if you are talking about a football club specifically, we have to develop the brand of the club, which means why, how, why this club exists, how it's operating, okay, and what specifically is doing. Organizing matches is not enough, so you have to give people a reason to follow your club, to be a supporter of your club, and then after you have the brand, you have to communicate it and then monetize that brand. So basically, this is like the overall concept of marketing in football.
Okay. Well, how seriously is marketing taken as a business dynamic in say football in a football club, or from your experience in the clubs that you work with in Romania and I think in Italy as well?
So I was lucky enough to work for my favorite club in Romania starting from the second division, and now we are in the first league, being contenders to the title. And I remember that 5 years ago how marketing it was in the second league and how marketing is now in Italy, for example. So the core still the same, okay? You still have, so you have to have the passion for the game, for your club. But more than this, now I think the fans demand more from a club than buying a season ticket or buying merchandising. I think the marketing is driving us to more about the experiences rather than products. That's why we invented at Rapid a new business line, call it Rapid X or Rapid Experiences, that is happening also in Genoa, that we are selling a lot of behind the scenes, that player escort, happy birthday. So now fans want from the club to give him the options to be called by a player and say happy birthday. Or not just get a jersey, but you want that specific, the jersey of a player signed by that player. So we are going more on the experience side rather than the traditional way. But still, we have to pay attention what's happened on the basic level. Let's not forget about the basic level, which means fill the stadium, have an online shop, a physical shop, use social media to try to create content, engage people. But on top of this, you have to come up with all these experiences that are like building the whole package right now.
It's a good thing that you've talked about, you've entered the territory we want to really expatiate on today. And that's the fact that, look, technology has changed the face of marketing across the world, right? Sports included. So we're saying, how has this changed in the 21st century? What was it like before? You talked about filling up the stadiums. You know, that's critical, yeah? But in the 21st century, maybe it goes beyond just filling up your own community stadiums to reaching a global audience, for instance. So tell us, what do you think working in football you see as the changes that have happened in football marketing now over the last 2 decades?
So I remember that I had a few discussions with my colleagues like 6 months ago about how we see the club in the next 10 years. So that was a very interesting discussion that makes me think about how we have to engage all the generations in this game, you know, in this social game, because in the end, football is a social game. And there is like a tradition, a conservative way of looking at football, say, okay, coming to the stadium is like the basic. And then you have this perspective of younger generations that say, you know, coming to the stadium, it's not really what we want, but still we want to experiment the game. But they wanted to consume the content like home or on their phone. But they don't want the 90 minutes. They want like short content. They want the highlights. They want to see behind the scenes. They want to see raw content. So what we're gonna experiment in the future is this perspective of watching the game from multiple perspectives on multiple devices, and like it will be more on the digital communities rather than physical one, you know. But still, the physical one will gonna be like consumed as it happens like till now. But more on this, you're gonna have more communities on the digital way. That's why you have a lot of social media channels, right? That's why first we have I don't know, Mirk, then you go to Facebook, and then go to Instagram, and then go to LinkedIn. So multiple type of fans, multiple type of channels, multiple type of content. So I think that will be the way, but not forget like the basic. I'm pushing about this because it will be the core. So that's why I believe that in the future, the clubs that will not gonna fill the stadiums will be out of the league, because with filling the stadium is like the marketing starts with filling the stadium. But after this, you have to build like on the new generation's demand, which is like the digital. Okay, maybe your generation, maybe my generation too, are afraid about what's happened in the future, but believe me, digital is here and probably will gonna stay with us in the next, for sure, for the rest of our lives.
I think that, you know, one thing you guys seem to have in Europe that we don't have in Nigeria specifically. Let me speak about Nigeria, because in some African countries they have it to some degree, is the fact that in most of your matches I see that your stadiums are packed with fans. So the question is this about your marketing or about it's about maybe the community support, maybe the community feeling a sense? All of that is part of marketing. I think it's the experiences that you speak about, right? But you know, in this part of in Nigeria specifically, our stadiums are still empty, you know, and you know, maybe that sucks out the atmosphere from games when somebody's watching it, because then you don't feel like something special is happening there. Because if the stadium is full, then people say, whatever those people are having, I want to have a piece of that. You know, so you guys seem to have your stadiums packed. What's the What is it that you guys do? What do you think the secret is?
I think it's the tradition. So in Europe, it's the tradition to come to the stadium, to attend the match on the stadium. And you can have a lot of things like very fast, but one thing is it's difficult to have it like quickly, and that's tradition. You know, you have to have like a tradition in you have to have the culture, you know, and in Italy it is like the soccer, like football. It's in the blood of the society. It's in the culture of the Italians. In Romania the same. We have I know 5 top clubs that are that have the tradition of attending like the crowd to be like noisy, you know, to support your club as a community. So it's in the blood of the tradition. It's in the blood of the culture. That's why it's important before of everything you as a marketer to think in terms of producing the culture. You know, we are having a trapeze, and I've seen in Genoa too. We have this like the match. It's important. It's there, but beside these 90 minutes, you have the whole event. You know, you have the music before. You have all these community gatherings in order to make the people attend. Because in the end, the reason people are attending matches are not just watching a game. It's escaping from the day-to-day reality. It's more on this. It's about like having the sensation you are belonging to a community. So what you have to do before is to understand the culture. You have to understand the community reason behind of your city, and then incorporate your club in that social hub. Otherwise, it's just a ball that is kicked by 22 guys or girls.
Yeah.
So it's important to build this cultural symbolic, you know. So you have to find a way to embody your club in the city, in the city community. So that's my advice to everyone that want to do marketing for a football club. So in Nigeria, you just have to understand the culture before.
Yeah.
So and give a reason to the Nigerian people to come to the stadium outside these 90 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Our football used to be very popular, you know, here in Nigeria before, and I think that part of why we have lost it a bit is because globalization happened. Satellite television came, and so now fans in Nigeria, Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, are very exposed, in Africa by the way, are very exposed to what's going on in Europe. And I think what clubs are beginning to do is build global communities as opposed to their immediate communities. First, what I think it's critical, like you have said, to first build your immediate community before you build your global communities. Do you think that going up against the richer and better packaged European clubs would be a challenge for somebody in Africa marketing their club? You know, how would you advise them to build this community? You know, how would you advise that to be done?
So my advice here, my perspective is like, look about what you have, not what others have. Okay. So okay, you can have the stadiums and the tradition of the British clubs. You can have like this tifosi culture that Italian clubs have. You can't. So you have to work on what you have.
You have, yes.
So it's very difficult to build something in the moment that you are looking outside what you have.
Yeah.
So okay, it's very difficult to build the same atmosphere that the British clubs have. It's impossible. So you have to look at your culture. So I'm absolutely sure that the Nigerian people have a culture. It's there. You can see it, you can feel it, you can smell it, right? So try to understand it, try to structure it, and work on that. Okay? So let's take some examples. Why people from Nigeria for a specific city are like gathering in the clubs, in the pubs, in the social markets, in the malls, and all these places, and give them a reason to come to the stadium. Okay, that club that they want to see, they have to have a reason to exist. So you have to work on that. So the first duty of a marketer that works for a football club is to fill the stadium. In the moment that they are doing this, you can sell merchandising, you can sell sponsorship. Without people in the stands, it's impossible to do it. And your question is how you do it, because now everybody in Nigeria are watching Manchester United, Manchester City, and all these big clubs. They are like forgetting about the Nigerian clubs. Yes, they are doing this because they are looking for some heroes. You have to teach your community, your kids, to see the Nigerian players as heroes. Because if you don't build the heroes in their mind and in their heart, it will be very difficult for them to identify with, and they're not going to follow the Nigerian clubs. We can forbid them like big European clubs to showcase their brand or play their matches, or your broadcasters to not show to the Nigerian people all these matches. So you have to work on what you have with what you have, and understand this dynamic and this social part and the cultural part of the football, and adapt to it and build on it. So it is not rocket science. It's about understanding the processes, work on that, be brave, be consistent, and I'm absolutely convinced that in 10 years from now, you're gonna have an audience on your stadiums.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that at this point we need to try and do some sort of how do I put it? We need to clarify something. In Romania, for instance, I imagine your league is the most popular league with Romanians, because what I see of Europe is that your leagues are individually popular with the locals. Is that a marketing function, or it is a cultural function? Culturally, you see yours first as more important than anything happening outside of your environment. So is that marketing? Should I spend so much trying to convince Nigerians to follow my club and not a British club or a Romanian club? Or should I spend that money getting them to follow my club as opposed to another Nigerian club? So we're all following Nigerian clubs, but follow my club more than the next Nigerian club. What do you think is is it because you're excellent at marketing, or it's just cultural for you to follow your own?
There are a lot of reasons why fans are following clubs. You can have what I call it second club. So our strategy in Rapid is to be the second option for the fans that already have a team. So we work, all this PR activity that we are building is about convincing them that we are cool. We are a totally different club. You don't have to be our fan from the beginning, but if you consume our content, if you consume our games, we're gonna make you love the club. So you cannot force your Nigerian people to not follow or support the European clubs. In Romania, we have this So Romania is not, or the eastern part of the Europe is not different than what was happening in Africa. So we have the same issue. In Rapid, for example, our fans are like following all the teams around the world that have cardinal or burgundy jersey color. So they are a fan of West Ham, they are a fan of Aston Villa, they are a fan of AC Torino. So all these clubs that have like burgundy on the jersey. So if you see that there is a huge Nigerian community that is following Manchester United, try to have a partnership with Manchester United.
Okay.
Try to work on a different way, to put your club brand in front of the eyes of the Nigerian people. So that's the goal. That's the strategy actually.
Okay.
To be smart enough to showcase your brand to whatever football lovers they are. You have to put your brand there. But besides this, you have to. Sometimes it's a matter of resources, right? So if you don't have resources, I remember that my first job in football, it was on a small second league club. When I joined the club, they don't have they don't have any resources. So what I did in the beginning was to convince like all the schools, all the kindergartens, high schools, churches to send their citizens to the stadium. So you have to look at in your community, try to define it, structure it, and then work on that. Convince them to come to the stadium. But one thing is very important: don't give the tickets for free. You are like eating the value of your club. So they have to pay something.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if they are paying like 1 penny or 2 penny. Or like 100 euro, doesn't matter. They have to pay because your club have to put on the table a product, and that product, it's like have a price around it. So they have to pay because they are seeing the value. So that's another advice that I'm offering to the marketers in the beginning, because they tend to feel that, okay, Daniel, you told us to fill the stadium. We're gonna fill it with invitations. We bring everybody in the stadium. Okay, but in the end, those players have to be paid in order to put in place that show. It's what you call it match, So the players are not paid with invitations, So that's why it's important to understand to make a product out of your club.
Okay.
So we are like. You have a lot of advantages being like having like a small audience. You have a good opportunity, but you have also a lot of restrictions. But you have to be smart enough to look on what you have rather than what you don't have.
Okay.
This is the right mindset.
Okay. So Daniel, we're going to take a very short break again, and when we return, we're going to really home in on what today is supposed to be all about. How do you drive the experiences today that's different from how it used to be, and how can we all access the tools that we have to drive the experiences that translate to more fans and more profitability. We're going to take a short break now, and when we return, the business resumes. Don't go away. You're welcome back to the program Sports Business with Orufuo Ezaga, and you're watching Plus TV Africa. We're reaching you live from our studios in Lagos. Hello, David.
Hello.
Okay. See, David, we need to talk about, what tools are available to the marketing man today to try and reach, to build your fan base, which is, ultimately what marketing is about, how to build the fans and satisfy these fans for a profit, of course. So how do you guys reach your fans today? And maybe there's this championship that's held in Asia. It's called One Championship. And they have, I mean, started in Singapore, where you have a 5 million population. But over 460-something million people watch One Championship. You know, and they say what they do is heavily social media. How would you advise that we go about capturing our club's experiences and sharing these experiences with a local and global audience?
Your question is very interesting about what is different now rather than 20 years ago, and I try to understand like how the fans consume the game right now. So what is different is that 20 years ago you have newspapers, you have TV stations, right? So that was the way that the game was consumed, right? Right now you have social media, and you have a lot of channels. So now when you are entering, when you have a phone in your hand, in that moment you have like a TV in your hand, and you have like Facebook, it's a channel, Instagram, it's a channel, TikTok, it's another channel, YouTube, it's another channel. So now you as a club, you have to fill all these channels in order to reach your fans. So that's why my advice is to use the social media channels in order to attract your audience, engage with the audience, and then monetize it. If you look at the social media landscape right now, you have a possibility to monetize each social media channel. So in order to make money out of Facebook, you just have to put your bank account of your club and then create content. And Facebook is rewarding you with in video ads. So if you are putting a video, Facebook is like putting ads there, and you get some money out of this. YouTube is the same. You can have YouTube Premium. You can have like also ads from money from the ads that YouTube is putting, and all this stuff. So I think the way that the clubs can monetize right now in like it was totally different like 20 years ago, it's through social media.
Okay, so, and then there's the issue of measurability. With social media, you can now measure results as opposed to what used to be the case. All right? Okay, so there's a point you made in your webinar where you talked about exclusive content. You talked about things like backstories and all of that, because the fans just don't want to watch the football matches anymore. They want more. They want to see the players as humans. They want to see all kinds of things happening around the game itself. And that's become just as important, if not even bigger than the games themselves. So how can you expand on this for us?
So what we are like trying right now in Rapid and in Genoa, it's like the video content. So imagine that now in the club you have to have like what you have in the movie industry. You have that director that is like organizing everything, all the cameras, how you put it. So now you have to hire this kind of person that is creating content, that basically is producing content for you, and then create stories out of this. So in this way, you transform your club from just a club that is playing football to an entertainment media company that is building content, video content. And believe me, if you want to succeed nowadays, you have to create video content. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Just with images and nice designs is not enough. You have to have the video. You have to have stories, but like in a video type of content. So you have to package it right, and then like use it as a munition in order to monetize it. So yes, video content is like the king right now.
Okay, you talked about the phone, how important it has become, you know, because that's like a television set in your hand. It's also like a radio set from your Spotify, and then it's also like your newspaper. Everybody can publish their stories today. But I think that, you know, what about the fact that you can now cross boundaries? You can now reach a global audience, and you know, so how do you tell stories that, you know, not only resonate with your local audience? How do you tell stories that resonate internationally? You know, and what applications do you use, you know, in trying to do that?
So in Rapid, it's more like local and national. In Genoa, okay, it's more international. But let me give you a concrete example. So now in Romania, we have like a regular season, and then like top 6 clubs are playing in the playoff. So we have to. This is in our ticketing strategy is to sell like playoff season tickets, right? Tickets for these 5 games. So what we did, we have a brainstorming that we take out like the main idea, okay? Thinking about what is like the way, what is the tool that the fans will never leave it, will ever having with them, like what is that symbol? And what we came up with the idea of a flag. You know, you as a fan in Romania, you know, in Rapid especially, you come to the stadium with the flag. So you have to carry on your flag and come to the stadium and wave it. So what we did, we put this flag on the cards, on the season ticket card. You know, that card, you have it. We call it like an identification fan, you know, tool. So then we give like this symbol to the fans, a reason to buy the season ticket. And more than this, all our communication, and you can search it on our social media, you'll see all our videos with the flags. So this is the campaign around it. So that's a concrete way to extract like a symbol that is important to your fans, and like put it in a product and then sell it to the fan base.
Thank you very much, Daniel. You've done a wonderful job. Joining us in the studio now is Mr. Olawale Quadri. He actually has hands-on experience in Nigeria because he's a director of Ikorodu City Football Club. I spoke about the club earlier. They are rookies in the Nigerian Premier Football League, but they've done amazingly well. They're right now competing. They have the title within sight. So yeah, welcome to the studio, Olawale.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I'm very excited to be on this show.
Okay, so I've been speaking with Daniel about how, you know, marketing has changed from the analog way it was in the 20th century to the 21st century, right? What do you guys do now in Ikorodu City that's okay? So before you even answer that, I've also been speaking about our struggles with fans in Nigeria. Do you know, how do we win the fans to come and watch our club games? Take Ikorodu City, for instance. You have a good following on social media. You have directors who have almost 1 million followers on social media. But, you know, the club itself still needs good numbers. You know, what are you guys doing now to drive up your numbers?
Okay, so I think when we started this season, one of the things that we did, because if you look at it, if you come to our home games, you realize that you see good numbers of fans, you know, watching our games, and then it will amaze you to realize that, or to know that the club is just 3 years, you know, in existence, and it's very, very difficult for a young club to command that kind of numbers. So we use Onikon, the Mobolaji Arena, as our stadium, and it's about 5,005 or 5,004 capacity. And on match days, I mean, the minimum that we usually have is probably 3,500. Sometimes we have 4,000, we have 4,500. Sometimes it will be more than 5,000. So what we did was realize that Nigerian fans, especially Lagos, because there's no traditional team in Lagos, unlike before when we have stores, we have the beggar and all of that. But now there's no traditional team in Lagos, so the fans for Lagos teams, they are no more there. Remember Sporting Lagos when they came, they have their fans, because of the tech guys, and they were able to get that community involved, for their own games. But for us, it's a different ball game because Ikorodu City is a community club. So normally we should be playing in Ikorodu. So if we are playing in Ikorodu, we have the organic fans. But because we are playing on the island, so what we did was that, okay, this season, we subsidize our gate takings. So the gate fee we subsidize, then we do more of community engagement here on the island because we realize that we can't take the club to Ikorodu based on facilities and all of that. So we need people, around the mainland, around the island to support. So what we did was we go into Isaleko, Freeman, the main island, and we do more of community engagement to sensitize them, create awareness so that they can, And another thing that I think brought fans to the stadium that usually give us that quiet number that we have is the fact that we play attractive football. So when you play good football, definitely people will come, play good football and you get results. Okay. And then on social media as well, like you said, we try as much as possible because clubs here in Nigeria, the private clubs, I know of two, I won't mention, they pay influencers, to influence, which is normal, when you are struggling to get fans. There are a lot of things that you do on social media. You promote your activities, you get people, external, independent hands involved so that people will know that at least you are. So I think those are the things that we try to put in place and we are seeing the results.
Hello, David. Hello? Okay. So, so David was talking about how in marketing clubs today, we have to, like you have said, develop the communities, right? And I think what I wanted to ask is, how do you navigate this issue of your community being Ikorodu, and you have to now build a new community on Lagos Island, because for now you're playing on Lagos Island, and most of you use this same stadium. Inter Lagos uses the same stadium, Sporting Lagos uses the same stadium, and so all of you are battling for fans on the island.
Yeah.
How do you differentiate your brands?
Okay, so we've had these situations before, even in Europe. Inter Milan, AC Milan, they use the same stadium in the same city, and then they have their fans. So for us, the advantage that we have is because we are playing in the MPFL, which is the top league, in Nigeria. So, and like I said, we still have we still have some fans that do travel down all the way from Ikorodu to join us. And we have some people who are from Ikorodu, but they live in Surulere. They live even here at, some live, Ikorodu people, they are all over, Lagos. So you can, so those people too, they usually come for our games. And then people like that, you might not see them at Inter Lagos game. You might not see them at Sporting Lagos game. That's aside. Then again, the club chairman, Mr. Somi Duarte, is from the Lagos Island.
Okay.
So that connection is there. And Nigerians, when I see that, okay, my uncle is fully involved in this project, or my area person, let me just put it that way, is fully involved in this project, definitely I might tend to buy into it and support him. So I think that's one of the things that is working for us as well. Because we have Ikorodu people spread across Lagos, and we have some people who are still not from Ikorodu, but they love, they love the game, they love the way we play and all of that. And then talking about segregating or differentiating our fans from Sporting Lagos and where I think that's very, very, it will be difficult, you know, because some of these fans, they still come to watch Sporting Lagos, to watch Inter Lagos and other clubs in Lagos. But what we have done in our club is we have some fans who are registered with us, we have their data and all that. So we can say, okay, at the end of the day, these people, because they registered, we have their database and all that, we can equally say, okay, these are our fans. You know.
Okay, so do you have a strategy to drive your hunt for fans, in the sense that, and what's it anchored on? You've just said you do offline stuff. You go into the community and and then there's online presence that you have. Yeah. In the short term, for instance, do you have like a short, medium, long-term plan, or what's the focus now? Is it offline activities to fill the stadium, which is very critical, because fans want to watch and see that people are following this club, and that creates a sort of an atmosphere that makes them feel like Ikorodu City is. Do you understand? Yeah. Then there's the online communities. There's Twitter. Yeah. That's a completely different zone from Instagram, for instance. Yeah. You know, they all require different approaches. Yeah. You know, there's Facebook, of course. You know, what do you have, like? What sort of plan do you have to drive your popularizing your club and winning fans?
Okay, so I think let me start from, let's take it from the X app, you know. So as a club, we usually we make sure that when, you know, it's very, very difficult to sell a product, and it's difficult for people to accept your product. And one of the reasons why, if you sell product to people, they don't tend to, they can say, okay, let me just buy, and at the end of the day, they won't come back. So the way we approach, our approach, and should I call it customer service? Okay, for instance, let me just, you know, okay, when we had our last game, even before our last game, we sell tickets online. So after selling tickets online, we find a way to still get the data of those people selling tickets to. We send them, we send messages to them periodically, even when we don't have games, like, okay, from Ikorodu City, just to let them feel that, okay, this club, they are doing something different from other clubs. And then just to make them have that sense and that feeling that, okay, we belong to this club. I think that alone, you know, a lot of people, after sending emails to them, they will come on social media and say, look at what Ikorodu City is doing. Wow, these are the people that have large numbers on social media. And by so doing, they influence other people. Like the Imba game that we played, that was the biggest game we played this season. And we realized that, okay, look, we need to, take advantage of this game. So our promotion and everything was done earlier, because we realized that the online people, we need to, get them involved. So we did the same thing on Facebook and on Instagram. So I think we use different approaches on this social media just to make these people feel that, okay, they are parts, of this team, and we are seeing the result. In fact, one of them even said during this last game, I think yesterday, he sent us a message that he likes what we are doing, that the promotion and everything, that he can even feel the impacts on the pitch, because at the stadium, that the crowd was just massive, all because of what we are doing.
Yeah, that's good. Well, how do you guys, how do you tackle this issue of, how do you? Because I imagine it's some sort of battle for you guys. Yeah. Nigerian fans are now very, directed overseas. They follow European football. Yeah. And you guys here, you're struggling to win them back, to our local football. But then I also find that sometimes you even encourage. Yeah. So we're fighting on the one hand to bring them back, but on the other hand, we're encouraging them with stories of what's going on overseas. Do you understand? So the fan is. So you guys, I don't know how you're going to do it, but like I said, so the plan now is to go social, fully, or to go. Well,
or I think in this 21st century, I think the plan should be beyond. I mean, should goes beyond just the social alone. You know, we have to take the advantage of both the online and the offline. And there's this thing they call what's it called now? I'm trying to remember. Apart from the online and apart from the offline and online, there's the traditional, you know,
mainstream.
Yeah, that we usually do. I mean, we have okay. Don't let me mention. We have a sponsorship deal with a particular firm. So part of the deal was they do promotion for our team on radio and on TV, and even on newspapers. So because we realize that some persons, they are not, you can't find them in the community, but they live there. So when we go to reach out to them, we might not find them. Some of them, they are not on this online. So how do we get them? So some people, I mean, there are some old men that all they do is they listen to radio. I mean, early in the morning, the Yoruba, this and all that. So they listen to all this. So we look for a way to get or reach out to them so that they too can know that, okay, something, you know, is going on at Onikon Stadium and all of that. So I think we've been able to manage the three, the online, the offline, and the traditional media as well. So, you know, we just have to explore all of these platforms because people are there and we need to reach out to them.
You guys, I don't know whether to say you guys are lucky because back in my time when we were supporting our clubs, I'm a big Bendel Insurance fan.
Yeah.
I was at the stadium when you beat my club 3-2. I wasn't happy, you know. But you guys have done absolutely brilliantly this season. I'll give you one last word because the program has to end now. You took your time before you got to the studio. All right. So going forward, you know, what are the plans for Ikorodu City? Where are you looking for your fans now? Are you looking beyond Lagos? Are you looking more deeper into Ikorodu? What's the plan?
Well, for me, I think our plan is beyond Lagos because we have people, like I said the other time, we have people who are from Ikorodu, but they are even living outside the country. You know, so these are the people that, you know, they see themselves and they feel that, okay, this is our club. And as a club, the target that we have, maybe in the nearest future, you know, the dream that we have for the club is to have our own facility, to have our own stadium. We have an academy. We've been able to set up an academy under 17 and under 19, and we have the under 14. So our long-term plan is to probably have, you know, our own stadium, just like what Remo Stars are doing. And they've set a standard for, you know, clubs that are serious in the Nigerian professional football league.
We want to have that stadium in Ikorodu.
Yeah, it might be, you know, it will depend on the availability of, you know, land.
You like the Lagos Island life?
Well, definitely it can be in Ikorodu because that should be where the club should be. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Olawale, for coming on the program. That's been our program today. Sorry, we lost Daniel, along the line, and but he had a lot of time to explain his own, how he sees, you know, the changes in club football marketing from his end in Europe. All right. In Nigeria, we're still navigating this territory and we're making some progress as Mr. Olawale has outlined. All right. That's been the package for this week. Next week we have another exciting package coming. Stay tuned, you know, to the developments. Keep your Tuesday free. And when we come back next week, I guarantee you're going to have another exciting and insightful package. Until we meet again next week, this is me, Orufuo Ezaga, saying, be productive, be good, and stay safe.